folks, getting ready to launch here on Lake Erie for a quick after work trip, try to go find some walleye. I'm here with Chuck Earls.
How are you?
Welcome. And Dave Martin.
How you doing?
And Dave, tell us a little bit about your boat here.
I bought it back in 2011, 2012 at the IX boat show. I bought it off of Vic's out of Kent, Ohio. It's a Starcraft. The model is a Star Weld. It's 20 foot, all welded hull, no rivets in the boat at all.
What we're doing is we have a Torqeedo Travel 1103 that we're going to use instead of the Pro Kicker there, the gas kicker motor. We're going to try an electric outboard. Reason being, it's virtually silent, and we're thinking maybe that would make a difference in terms of the walleye biting or not biting. I know that that's the case where I fish on the Chesapeake Bay for striped bass. That gas motors do spook fish, and we're going to try it out here and see if it makes a difference, and get some speed and range, some runtime numbers so you folks can see that. It is a 3 horsepower. It's actually 3 horsepower in terms of the speed it gets. It's actually 4 horsepower in terms of the weight that it will push. It will push up to 3,000 pounds of boat. So let's get out there, put some of these to use.
Right out there, that little black blob, that is the 5 mile crib they call it. I think it's 3.5 miles from shore, but it's 5 miles from the pumping station maybe. There is a live streaming camera that's actually off of the crib facing Cleveland. So you can generally get a pretty good understanding of the conditions, the fog. You know, sometimes you open up the camera and Cleveland, you can't even see it because it's so thick. So that'll give you a good idea as far as what the conditions are a little bit offshore. Then you can check the buoys. There is the offshore buoys that'll tell you what the actual wave height is and the wind speed and stuff. So that gives you a lot of resources that you can analyze the situation before you get to the lake and you realize that it's not good weather.
Fish right here, 50 foot. This is the water depth. This is the water temperature, and of course these are the fish. Got a lot laying on the bottom, roughly around maybe 64, 65 feet, and we got some suspended fish right around 52 to 54 feet there.
One of the nice things about this battery, this is the 915 watt-hour lithium battery. The battery, the connections, everything is IP67 rated waterproof, meaning you can submerge it up to 1 meter deep for half an hour with no water intrusion. So, you know, even though it's really low to the water and it's going to be wet most of the time, you're fine. So we've done a little bit of prep work in setting up this Torqeedo Travel 1103 on this boat. I want to show you the base model as it is. There's actually 2 different options. This is a short shaft, and then the long shaft is what we chose to put on this boat, just to make sure we get the prop nice and deep. The short shaft version of the Travel 1103 is good for john boats and other shallow water fisheries, smaller boats, but we're going to be in a deep water fishery. Let's keep that prop as deep as possible. I'll show you the way that it comes standard. You have the tiller throttle here, which as I start twisting that, you can see it's basically a silent direct drive motor. Very, very quiet. Your displays are right here. We have 100% of the battery that just sits on top. This is the 915 watt-hour lithium battery that just sits right there. The display here shows you the remaining battery percentage, your speed, the watt draw, the remaining range. All of that information is there, and then you have a magnetic kill switch there. But that's not that useful having it here close to the motor. So what we have here it's actually a prototype part by Innovative Sportsman. is tying into the existing steering we have, such that we're just steering with the boat's steering wheel with this Outboard part here. Innovative Sportsman made this part that just fits into the front, and it just fits right where this tiller throttle would be, so that you can have remote steering or tie into the existing steering that there is.
I said those fish are on the graph right now are where our baits are running. So hopefully, if we got hungry fish down there, one of the rods should we're hoping.
Fish on!
Watch your line when it gets close to 50. Step back, I'll snap your snap weight off.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah, go on the other side of that.
Yep.
Oh, God. Ready?
All right. First one in the boat.
Measure him up, see what he goes.
Okay. What do they need to be here?
Need to be 15.
So he's 18. Okay. Cool.
All right, so what Dave's got here, he has the Daiwa Wilderness rod and the Daiwa line counting reel. Basically, what I generally do is I stick it in the tube and I drop the bait down to the water surface. Once it hits the water surface, I hit the reset button, and now I know that my line counter is zeroed out to the water, which we've already done that. So we're gonna open the bail, release it down, get it going a little bit, and we're gonna let it go back about 50 feet. Once we get to 50 feet, we're gonna throw this. This one's a 3-ounce snap weight. Just snaps on. Put your line underneath that little nipple there. Sometimes you use 3-ounce, sometimes you use 2-ounce, sometimes even smaller. It just depends on how deep you're trying to get. All right, so it's at 50. I hold the line so that it's not moving anymore. Just like that. Make sure you're on there. Now we're gonna drop that down, put it in there, and we're gonna let it go back to 150 total. So what we're doing is we're running 50, then we're putting the 3-ounce snap weight, and then we're running another 100 back. So you lock it on, make sure your drag's all right, and we're ready to catch another fish.
I said usually in the evenings, the darker it seems to get, you'll notice that the fish are rising. Basically what they're doing is they're getting more active, they're willing to feed, especially up around Lorraine in the evening in the fall. You might see fish on your graph about 45 to 50 feet, and then the closer it gets to around 4:30 in the fall, when the light starts diminishing, you'll see them fish that were at 45 feet rise up to about 30, 25 feet, and they become actively feeding.
So we got the Torqeedo remote throttle set up here close to the steering wheel, and what I'm doing, we're going 1.9 miles per hour, and it's saying right here we have a range of 8.3 miles at that speed. The reason it's able to calculate that that remaining range is there's a GPS unit in the battery itself. That waterproof 915 watt-hour lithium battery with the GPS unit in there communicates via this data cable to the throttle and tells you your speed to the 1/10 of a mile per hour, which is very important when you know they're biting at a specific speed. So this is the remaining battery percentage, this is the remaining range, this is the speed we're going, and this is the watt draw. It utilizes the remaining battery percentage, the watt draw, and speed to calculate this remaining range. So there's a pretty quick install, easy to take on and off. I think what would be ideal is, you know, what we actually did is we put it on once we were out here, and I have a travel bag that allows you to, you know, to carry it around and put it on once you're out here. But I think you know, having an auxiliary motor lift that would kick it up just so it's out of the way of the, you know, out of the way of the water once you're heading out is ideal. But before we headed out, before we came zooming out here, one thing that we did is that we took some underwater recordings of the both the existing kicker motor here, the gas kicker motor, and then got a comparative, you know, with a hydrophone. I used an underwater microphone to record the sound or lack thereof of the direct drive electric outboard. And let's take a look at that and see what the difference between the two is.
I have a couple spots in the evening I like to troll. It's closer inshore, not too far out from the break wall, roughly 35-40 foot of water. We're going to make a move. It's getting kind of rough out here, especially at night, so this way here, if it gets any rougher, we're closer to the dock that we can get off the lake if we need to.
On Monday, we were out chasing walleye. We ended up getting chased off by the wind. It shifted 180 degrees and started coming out of the south. We were about 10 miles out, so it started to get a little bit nautical out there. We did get one fish, but we ended up coming in. Tuesday, we went out of Avon Point offshore on the kayaks and chased some walleye. Caught a couple of walleye, a couple of catfish, and then today, Dave's able to get back out, so we're just going to take a look at a couple of resources and just check the forecast and just kind of get a feel of what to expect tonight. So one of my favorite ones to use is Wind Finder. So with Wind Finder, you can mark your favorites. For example, Bracknell or Avon Lake. If you click on these spots, all these red dots are readings. So we're going to click on this forecast, open it up. Today is Wednesday, September 23rd. Here's our wind pattern. So we'll be out there around 5 p.m. We got, what is that, 8 knots? That's in mile per hour. So 8 miles per hour. So it should be a pretty calm day. That's actually coming out of the west-southwest. So we're going to be blocked a little bit by the point there. So we should be pretty good out there. This will actually give you a timeline of what the lake's supposed to do. So when it's down like this, obviously those are good days. Looks like we have a really nice string of good days coming up. A couple of other things I use is the NOAA buoy. So this will actually give you real-time readings, what's going on offshore. So currently we have 7.8 knots out of there. Wind gusts 9.7 knots. Another good resource that people like is iWindsurf. Let's see if we can get. And this will actually give you a couple of different readings. Marblehead, East, Erie West, Port Clinton, Fairport Harbor, etc.
Alright, we're heading out again. You think we're going to have the same kind of weather we had when it got dark the other night?
I'm hoping it's better weather.
Yeah. Now you had checked the weather on those resources, those online resources. We should be in decent shape with that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
It can always change. You just keep your head on a swivel. As soon as you feel the wind change, check your buoys. You know, check some live cams. That's why they're there, so you have that real-time resource.
Nice.
But yeah, that's how it's done.
Got some good ones there. We're in, you can see we're in a lot closer than the other night. Got one on?
Yes, sir.
And that red flicker. Ah, you bastard.
Right behind.
That's the ticket.
Nice going. All right, we've made one good long run into the wind, turned around, and used up a good bit of power coming up through there. As I turned around, I noticed that we're only using about 200 watts going the same, the opposite direction of what we were doing coming up. So it's only about 40% of the power going with the wind as it is going against. But you can see right now we're at 1%, and for that reason, I'm gonna shut that off and show you how quick it is to power it down. And we got a spare battery right here. Swaps out real quick. I got a little bag that I keep it in to keep it happy. And we will hop back here, unscrew the data cable, then the power cable. I'll take the battery locking pin out, and this one pops off. This one pops on. We line up those pins. It's a good idea to every couple trips you want to spray some WD-40 into those connections. It just keeps those pins connected real good. People want to use dielectric grease or something like that. Talk to the guys in service. They say, nope, WD-40. That's the right stuff. All right, got it all connected. We'll put that pin back in. Come back up here. Powered on, 100%. And we're back in business. So that quick swap out of the battery, you should carry a spare, Depending on how much trolling you're doing, if you're going with the wind or against the wind, it's how much power you need. So, easy swap over. There's downtown Cleveland. So we're heading in. Thanks for taking me, guys. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Blessed.
After what, 2 days on the water using it, we did one run deep, and then tonight we stayed shallow. Do you think it makes a difference having a quiet electric outboard as opposed to the gas 9.9?
I do. Shallower water especially. Walleye are sound sensitive. The quieter you can be, the better your chances. Most of the kicker motors are fine in deeper water. You get into water 20 foot or less, you know, the fish are going to spook off to the sides. So if you're not running planer boards, your chances of catching them fish are very slim due to the noise. So as quiet as these are, you wouldn't need to use planer boards. You control right off the side or off the back of the boat and stand a good chance of catching some fish.
Nice. Well, again, I appreciate you guys taking me out. Had some fun, learned a bunch, and hopefully we'll come back up when it's a little bit cooler, and you know, do it again.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.